Hey guys, welcome to the Base1 Podcast. Welcome back, everyone. We are back and things are different. Welcome to the new world. Coming at you live from post-apocalyptic 2020.
I feel like it's still apocalyptic. It's not quite post-apocalyptic yet.
It's ongoing apocalyptic. The world is falling apart all around us.
I'm thankful for one thing, and that is that we are in our beautiful set right now, because last podcast we were not in our beautiful set,
and it hurts. Wait, they haven't seen that yet. Upcoming after this, stay subscribed.
We have a cool
exclusive interview with the one and only Ryan Trahan.
I happen to be a huge Ryan Trahan fan. I think his content is amazing, so getting to sit down and talk with him was awesome.
Yes,
but we weren't in our beautiful set, and that made me sad. Also, we've been gone for a while, so just being here in general, getting back from, we were in Europe. Should we start off saying that?
Well, we were in Europe, and while we should also, acknowledge that we are back in our beautiful set, which I guess, people hearing this in Spotify or anywhere else, they don't get to see the set, but we should also acknowledge, if we're going to acknowledge that we are coming at you in beautiful 1080p.
Yes.
Because we lost our camera in Europe.
All right, let me start the story.
Yes.
Okay? So we're coming at you in 1080p on our old Canon 70D, if you're watching us on YouTube, because we were in Europe and everything was going well. We were filming videos. We had a bunch of videos planned. We planned this months in advance.
Yes.
And we had a whole trip planned in order to film a bunch of content for our YouTube channel.
Yes.
It was going great.
Boom.
We'd filmed 3 videos. Everything was going good. It was really good. We were low on sleep because we were just go mode posting these videos, right? And then the last video was such a crazy video that we were like just at airport after airport. We were like, all right, we're just go. And then literally one morning we wake up at 6 a.m. to the news that we can't get back into the U.S. unless we get there by midnight the next night.
Yes.
And so then the chaos ensued, and we're like, what do? Do we continue filming our videos? Do we go home? And we're kind of on the fence. I'm so glad that we ended up home, because now fast forward to current day, I forgot the camera as well. That's where I was going with that. We got home and I left the camera somewhere. Literally, I don't know where. Our entire $3,000 plus rig, I just left it somewhere. So,
it hurts. It hurts. But good news. Apparently, they found it in one of the airports.
According to an email that I got, it was found at the Stockholm airport, and I just have to fill out this thing, and they're going to mail it to me. So we'll see if that.
Wait, you haven't filled that yet?
I did, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
That's all I had to do, and I did that.
Okay,
and hopefully,
Hopefully we get it back. Oh my God. We also lost footage in that camera. There was footage in that camera.
Yeah, so I would love to in this podcast, go over our experience of basically being, how would you say this? Like, just forced to leave Europe. We weren't forced to, but like just having to cut our trip short.
Forced to make a decision.
Yeah. And I wish I could show you some of the things that influenced our decision, but all that footage is on that camera in which I left in Europe.
Yeah. We'll show you on the next podcast. We'll once we recover the camera, hopefully
we'll make like a new episode.
Well, I won't even get my hopes up.
Right.
I won't even believe it till I have it in my hands. But once, hopefully, if we do end up having the camera back, I would like to show some of the clips we got, especially in Italy. It was scary, bro.
Yeah, so
that was some post-apocalyptic.
I know. I want to jump into that.
In Italy,
I want to talk about that so bad. Most people who've been asking me, like, "How was your trip to Europe?" I tried to give them like a quick rundown of how that felt, because the people here, like, they still think of the coronavirus as a joke, at least as of a couple days ago. Maybe now, I feel like people understand.
Well, here's the thing about what's going on is that every day you wake up to worse news.
Yeah.
Every day, it turns out it's worse than you thought.
And the thing is Italy went through that sooner, like before us. So they were like a little bit ahead, right? So being in Italy, we had a layover in Italy, in Milan. We were there for like a few hours. We were supposed to be there for longer. Well, not really. It was a layover, basically. It was an extra long layover, but we had a layover in Italy, and they're basically just ahead of us and everything. And so being there, it seemed like the apocalypse. Like 100%, it felt like the apocalypse. Like we were walking through an empty airport. Yes. There was like not a soul there, and
there were people. Okay, so you walk out down the stairs on the plane. From the plane. You have like these little this area which was baggage claim but had been repurposed for basically coronavirus screenings.
Yeah, and there was literally a person in a full hazmat suit with the mask, with everything, and
everyone was like, "Stay away!
Yeah, stay away!
Stay, a certain distance from each other." And everyone was so like, "Don't touch anything! Like here, this is the one pen you get to touch."
Not only that, but there was only like 5 of us that came off this plane.
Oh yeah,
so it wasn't like a whole plane of people. It was like 5 people, and we're all being forced to stay apart. And yeah, so it was legitimately like scary. I managed to I think film a few clips of what it looked like, especially in the airport, just how like desolate it looked. Like there was metal over all the shops because they were closed, which just looked kind of spooky. Yeah. There's just like little piece of trash kind of blowing around, like classic.
Yeah, and they made us sign this thing as we went through this screening process that you basically weren't supposed to enter Italy for any reason unless it's like actually like essential that you went to Italy. So they made us sign this thing.
Yeah, there was like an officer there who had to sign off on it that literally said that this was essential travel.
Yeah.
And at that point, basically, we're like, oh shoot, it's not necessarily essential. Like we're just here we're going through here to make a video. At that point, it felt very like, oh okay, like maybe we just shouldn't be traveling right now. Like we literally should just get home. And then
Yeah. I mean, that decision didn't just happen there necessarily. It had been building up to. Maybe we should start from the beginning.
I was gonna say though, it's very fascinating to come back here and come back to a different here, because we came back to a different world. It's like we came back to the U.S. We're back here, but it's not the same. Things are empty. Places are deserted. Like
it's crazy how you can never see a world-changing event coming. It just happens. It's something that happens to you, and that's why I always say, hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and never expect anything, because nothing is guaranteed. Everything we have because we are allowed to have it, and the circumstances that have allowed for that to happen can change at any moment.
It's absolutely crazy. Like,
has this podcast started too pessimistically?
We started this whole couple of weeks pretty, we were, I would say, concerned about the coronavirus, and we were told by everyone around us when they heard, oh, you're going to be traveling for this video, make sure you're preparing for this.
Yeah. So the thing is, we planned this trip, which was a really a series of trips very close to each other, place live, then Sweden, then Europe. And we planned this months ago before anything before the coronavirus was on the news.
And we had paid for everything
we had paid for everything in advance.
Literally, this is the first time in which we paid for I think we were shooting for 8 or 9 videos, and we had them all basically paid for and planned. I had this massive itinerary. It's the first time we've done that, where we were we put all these resources into all these videos right off the bat. And it was we can't really just not do it when we heard about this coronavirus. We paid for all this. We have to do this.
And the thing is, when we first started hearing about the coronavirus, I guess our reaction was similar to most people. It's okay, we'll keep an eye on it, but we're not gonna necessarily cancel this whole. But the thing is, everything changed so fast. I feel like even today, I wake up every single morning. Yeah. It's it's worse than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
The world, we're in the middle of the apocalypse. Okay,
I didn't believe it. There was a certain point in the trip where you said you were it's just gonna get worse and worse, and I was like, is it really? I guess so. This is at that pivotal moment where we were on this. We actually, spoiler alert, we came back. We made it back.
We cut our trip short for a week.
But making that decision was so tense, because we had all these things booked, right? All these flights, all these hotels booked, everything. And I didn't want to cancel it. I didn't want to, dip on all that stuff. But as you said, it was every day it's just gonna get worse, right? And I was well, I don't know. And then when we finally made that call, afterwards, I'm so glad we did, because literally everything was canceled.
The day later, I'm very proud of us to have made the decision, because it wasn't obvious when we made the decision that it was the right decision. There was still the possibility that we could have gone on as scheduled and things would have been perfectly fine.
Yeah. And we were so worried about making that decision, because if that were the case, it would have felt so bad. We just abandoned this, and it could have totally worked out,
Because it was a very hard decision, because it was we were working on all these videos, and we hadn't published a video in a long time. our bank account is probably at its lowest. It's been a long time.
Yeah, we spent all this money on all this trips.
The money coming up is that we have coming up scheduled is low at this point.
Yeah.
We spent a bunch of money on this trip.
And it was going to cost us more in order to come back. Like, in order to come back,
we needed to spend even more money, extra money. Not only lose the money we already spent on the trip, but we had to spend even more money to come back. And the idea we were in the middle of filming is one that we believed in so
like it was one of our favorite video ideas. We were super excited about it.
So it was not only all the money that's cost us, that will cost us to get back, the position financially that we were to do that. But at the end of the day, I'm proud of us that we made the decision. I think it was a decision made from a place of confidence and not fear.
Yeah.
I feel like the easy thing for us would have been, we'll just carry on. Yeah. Right? We're in this position. We cannot afford it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the more we work on what we're working, the more confident we feel in our understanding of what we're working on. Yeah. And I felt that we were in a position where it's like, okay, this is going to hurt. This is going to be a blow. But in the grand scheme of things, this is just gonna be a small note.
Exactly. It was the best option, and like there's so much happening with this coronavirus. Like you said,
now it is obvious that it was it was so now. A day later, and again, it's like things are changing exponentially fast.
Yeah.
Like at that moment when we made the decision, it wasn't obvious, but the next day it was very obvious, and then the next day it was even more obvious, and it's almost
it really makes me feel for all the people who are in similar situations, though, because I feel like for us that's even this, like right now we're in such a tense time, right? But there's so many other people who I feel like are in even worse scenarios and just
absolutely
the most terrible, and it makes you really just feel like, wow, like this is impacting the world massively.
This is changing the world for sure.
Yeah, and so I don't know if anyone watching this is in a similar situation. Hopefully, I can give some sort of not advice, but like just hopefully it makes you feel a little better knowing you're not alone, that everyone's struggling with this, and it's like you can still see a positive side to it in a way of just like it's going to be bad, but if it's going to be bad and it's going to happen, then you can just work through it, and not let it like sort of feel too overwhelming, I guess. I feel like that's what we tried to do.
Yeah, I feel like I remember in that flight back when we made the decision, it was like, this hurts, this is a huge blow, but guess what? Everyone's going through this now.
It was exactly. It was like feeling of relief, like, okay, at least we're not alone. Like it's not like we messed up. It's like the world kind of messed up.
Yeah, more so to me, it was just a checking off privilege. It's like, it's a bad thing, it's a blow, but everyone's suffering right now, and you just go, get through it.
Yeah.
But we're back here.
Yes, we made it.
We made it back. We did come back with a few videos. So we have like 5 videos in the bag.
Yeah.
We were looking for 8, maybe 9 videos. But hey, we got 5, okay?
Yeah.
So we're working on that right now. We're editing like crazy.
I'm super stoked with these videos. Like we filmed some videos in Europe, which worked out. And we had a lot of videos that we filmed, like a playlist. We filmed a video here before we left. So now it's just like, edit mode and get those posted. And hopefully, if you guys are all quarantined right now, you'll have some cool videos to watch while you're just chilling at home like we are.
Yeah, we are also quarantined. We are, practicing self-isolation.
I love how self-isolation for us is literally just what we would have probably done anyway, because we were just going to sit at home and edit. Like our plan kind of worked out well in that way.
Yeah, to be fair, we work from home. Mm-hmm. So, and it's just me, Finn, and Ben. But so that is normal, but we're not going out.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're staying here.
Interacting with people is definitely like a big thing. It's like, oh yeah, we're not going to just go to that party, go to that thing. It's like, oh no, just, keep that social distancing. It is interesting though, because I definitely, don't want to like not interact with other people at all. But maybe that's the right move. I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, at what point is it like, oh yeah, like I can talk to you from across the way as long as we don't touch or interact, right? I feel like that's
but that is the way to go. Yeah, that is the way to go. And it's so hard because I don't know when this is gonna end, right? Mm-hmm. It's a new world we're walking into, and I kind of hate I don't want to like the people listening. I don't want necessarily to drive them, like make them anxious or anything.
True. Yeah, it's interesting though. Like I feel like we have enough of a positive outlook on it to talk about it, and like I enjoy being like, oh, where could this go? What could happen? Blah blah. But yeah, when you do start talking about like the possibilities, it does get a little bit scary. You're like, wow, like what if this goes on for a year? Like like just saying that is like, oh shoot, like
I mean, this morning I was reading some stuff that it was like, oh, it might take a year and a half for this to like, settle. And it's just so unthinkable, right?
Yeah,
like you cannot predict a world changing, like you cannot predict 9/11, you cannot predict. Then again, you can kind of predict it. Like Bill Gates has been yelling at the top of his lungs for the past like 4 or 5 years now that we're not ready for this.
Yeah, we were mentioning it about how like humans just kind of, they don't really prepare for things. Like when something happens, we're like, oh, we better figure it out now. But like when there's always been, and throughout all of history, the people who are like trying to just scream at the world, like you need to figure this out. Like they're like the prophets who are like, this is gonna happen. Yeah, nobody listens. Nobody ever listens.
Yeah, hopefully. But here's the thing. This is when 9/11 happened. There was a before and after. Like the world wasn't the same after 9/11. I think this is a similar situation, maybe to a greater degree than 9/11, which is crazy because the greatest event that happened, like world-changing event that has happened in my lifetime, was 9/11. So to think something bigger than that.
But I think it's very good when you put it that way. It's like so good that this is happening, which is terrifying to say. Well, but it's so good that it's happening because imagine like the next virus that's even worse. Yeah. Right. And
we're gonna be ready for that one for sure. We must, guys. Yeah. Let's be ready for the next one. Okay. We're gonna survive this, and then let's get ready for the next one because it's gonna come and it's gonna be inevitable, and we've got to be ready. Yeah, because literally, like, all those zombie movies you see, right? It's like the whole idea of it is like a virus that, transforms the whole world. We're like, that couldn't happen. Dude, like that's the thing. We were in freaking Italy, right? And it felt like a zombie movie. It literally did. First off, we plan all these trips before we hear anything about the coronavirus, right? Then we hear about the coronavirus and like, okay, it's cool. We'll be
careful. Like, we sanitize.
My way of thinking it was, hey, I'm a germaphobe anyway, so I'm gonna practice, good hygiene and everything. We're gonna be good. But then as we were traveling, things just very slow. And this is what happens with exponential growth. You don't see it like exponential growth looks like this, very flat line until it's vertical. And then everything happens at once, and it happens very fast. So we're keeping an eye on it. And then I feel the first thing that happened was that we had a few flights to Italy that were canceled. Yeah. That was my first red alarm. That was like, whoa.
Yeah, one of the stops that we had on this trip was Venice, Italy, and I was so excited about it because I'd never been to Venice before. Yeah. And I knew that there was that, the situation in Italy wasn't great, but I had no idea of how it really was. Like, really, all I'd heard was like, oh yeah, like, this many cases in Italy. And I was like, well, we better be very careful when we're in Italy, I just had no idea of how absolutely crazy it was. And when the flights got canceled, I was like, whoa.
When the flights were canceled, that was obviously a big red sign. It was like, okay, we'll just not go to Italy. We'll rebook flights. The Italy part of our section, we'll just skip it. Okay, fine. Yeah. But a few hours later, we wake up to the news that the U.S. was closing its borders.
And not only that, but we actually had, which I'd forgotten about, we had a layover in Italy the next day. Yeah. So we're like, oh, the whole Italy portion of our trip is gone. That's fine. And I was like, oh, wait, but we actually have a layover in Italy as well.
Yeah.
Like, but it's not canceled. It's going fine.
Yeah, so exactly. If it's not canceled, because again, I guess I was expecting more of a reaction from the airlines. Yeah. Like, yo, you cannot get in this flight is canceled because of everything that's going on. We didn't really get it. Like, we were fine going to so they totally let us to go to Italy when I feel like they shouldn't probably have let us.
That morning when we woke up to the news, my phone blew up. There were so many people Snapchatting me like, oh my goodness, you're in Europe. Like, what the heck? Like, are you going to be able to get back? Whatever. And we were still figuring all that out while kind of like boarding this plane.
Well, that's the thing, because we woke up to that news, and that so the first red flag was Italy flights canceled the previous days, and it was like, okay, we're skip Italy. But then a few hours later, that same morning, like, we woke up and we needed to be on a plane in an hour from that period. Yeah. It's like we didn't have time to think about it. It was like when that news came out, I was like, I was still processing the news when we're pretty much boarding the plane to Italy.
It's crazy how...
And I swear, as we took off, I was like, we shouldn't have been in this plane.
Yeah, no, 100%.
As we were taking, as they closed the door, I was like, oh, shoot.
Dude,
I should have called this before.
It got crazier and crazier. So like literally when we're boarding, it seemed all good. Like, okay, just normal boarding. They're like, hey, we're boarding now. Some people got in line. There wasn't very many people, but it
was a fairly empty flight.
Yeah, but we couldn't tell. Like maybe they just hadn't boarded yet. Like it wasn't guaranteed those were the only people, right? But we boarded. Like we went to go board on this like bus. We all got on this bus to go board the plane because that's how they were doing it, I guess. And we got on that bus and there was like 5
and all
people.
this time I was stressing about it. Yeah. It's like this is going on. You need to change your plans, but I don't want to freaking sacrifice everything. Like it was a big call to make.
As soon as you miss one connection, like the biggest reason that I was still going with it is because as soon as you miss one connection, your whole itinerary is gone. It's not like oh, let's just not get on this flight and catch the next one. It's like, well, we have an itinerary where we go here and then there and then there and then there and then there. And it's like if we miss one flight, then it's like how are we going to even finish and get to our our last flight, right?
But wait, I don't get that because I mean we still cut our itinerary short anyway.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like, I just mean like if we just were like, well, let's just wait a minute and think about it, then we're basically saying cancel. Like if we just were to wait, we couldn't just like hold on.
Yeah, exactly. The moment exactly. Yeah. It was. Oh, you get on this plane or you
cancel everything.
Or you cancel everything. Yeah. And there wasn't a lot of time to think about it.
Exactly.
So by the time I was like, we should have not gotten on this plane. That door was closed and we were on our way.
Yeah. I want to mention though, it got kind of weird because like we get on this bus, right, and there's only like 5 other people. I remember being like, oh, this is weird. Like there's not any people going, and I guess because we're going to Italy, I guess that's why.
Yeah,
right?
there were some 10, 15 people. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then they all got brought into we got brought off the bus because they had to do some sort of check. It was weird. Like they brought us all off again, like walked through and checked everybody off the list. We're like, this is kind of weird. And we finally got on the plane and started the 1 hour little flight to Italy. And I feel like in that time, that's when we had time to think. Basically, we were like,
and then. We touched down and our decision was made. Like it was like there's. Yeah. I was kind of debating with Finn before that. After that,
weren't we like looking? Before we left. Correct me if I'm wrong, but before we left on that flight, we were looking at flights back. We were already like, oh shoot, like we already were looking at flights back. We were like trying. We were definitely like,
for sure.
We were 100% deciding. Like we were like,
we were looking for flights. Like if we stop our trip here, where do we go next?
Like
and
how
so
do we
on
do
and so
whatever.
forth.
But then obviously once the plane took off, we couldn't do that anymore. But then as soon as we landed and we saw the situation there, which was absolutely crazy, it was basically like, okay, we need to abandon ship here.
Yeah. I mean, we touched down. We went to these to the baggage. They took us to the baggage claim, which had been repurposed for screenings, health screenings. They people with hazmat suits were reached and took our temperature, with those laser thingies.
Yeah, we were like so like just surprised. Like I was so surprised at least because I was expecting it to be like, less people traveling. I had no idea like this whole airport was like on lockdown. Like literally there was like something like maybe I don't know how many planes, at least like 10 planes I saw. Like all
as we touched down, there were like so many grounded planes.
Yeah. And then we show up there and there's just us and a few other people and they literally wearing a full hazmat suit. I was like, this looks like what you see in a zombie movie, like when they're putting people through. And
they made us sign a thing that it's like, because that's the thing. Like that airline shouldn't have let us.
Yeah, the
airline told us something.
The airline should have been like, you realize you're going into a place that's in lockdown mode. Are you
and
sure
you can only go there?
Is this essential? Like, why are you going?
If it's essential.
Yeah,
they made us sign like a little thing that our travel is essential, and we're like, yeah, we're only here for a connection flight, whatever.
Like maybe if we had been told to sign that before we had even left on the flight, we might have been like more like, okay, maybe not. Like maybe let's not do it. Yeah. But because it seemed like a normal flight, it was just operating as normal. I didn't realize the situation was that dire.
So there weren't a lot of people there. There was the person with the hazmat suit, and there were like a couple of like like officials, and everyone was like, "Keep your distance from each other." And
it was very intense.
It's like I'm gonna put a pen here. This is a pen you're gonna use to sign this thing you need to sign. And then as they let us out of that place to the airport itself was empty, other than a few people that seemed stranded. That seems like they were sleeping there.
Yeah, it was like a ghost
and
town.
Police.
It was crazy. Like the feeling of going to this airport, it was like you've seen in every movie. Like the fact that we first arrive and you have people like yelling at you. Like the tension was high. It was like, hey, stay apart, stay apart.
Yeah.
And like, don't touch this. Okay, come over here, do this. And I was like, okay, like wow, this is scary. And then we get put through. We're like, okay, we sign the document and we walk in, and then it's just empty. And you're looking around, and you're like, wow, like things are boarded up because they're closed. So like, even though, you know, that's obviously normal when you board up your shop when it closes, it just looks like eerie. You're like, wow, like things are boarded up and closed, and there's nobody walking around here. And there's only like 3 other people. Like we went to go check in to our flight, and there's still someone there at the desk, but there's no line.
Yeah, there's literally the one person. Like everything was closed except the one that airline.
Yeah.
And they checked us in,
and like they were having so much trouble checking us in, and they were like talking back and forth.
Yeah, they were talking in Italian, so I have no idea what they were saying.
It sounded like intense, and they were like just like barking back and forth at each other, like this, no, this, no, this. And we're just like, I hope we can get on this plane and actually leave, because at that point, how crazy it looked, it was like, are we actually gonna be stuck in Italy? It was like a very legitimate concern.
No, that was a literal. I was like, get me out of this country.
Yeah, exactly.
Like whatever happens, let me get out of here.
Not only that, but the screens. You know, there's like screens, those TV screens that tell you what flights are on.
Oh yeah, they're all canceled.
It's like just a whole list of flights canceled. And it's like there's one flight there. Yeah, it says like our flight not canceled.
Yeah,
we're like,
there was the one flight.
That could change at any moment.
The thing is, there were so few people that they could have canceled that flight at any time.
Literally, there was. Let me try and think about it. There was me, you, and maybe 3 or 4 other people.
I have pictures. Maybe we'll put it up of the flight. It was literally like 4 other people.
I think I have some GoPro shots as well. I was trying to like discreetly film a little bit. Because it was crazy. Like there was nobody on that flight. But they did let us board, you know, after we had a little document signed that said, you know, we were okay with it. And every check of the way, every stop of the way, I don't know the word to that, every step of the way, they would scan us with that little like thermometer thing.
Yeah, true.
And I think what that was telling if you have a fever. That was my best guess.
I think so.
They would go up to your neck and like boop, a little thing. So because if you were sick, I'm assuming you'd be like, nope, you're not going on that flight.
Yeah.
So luckily we weren't sick, and we got let on the flight, and we got out.
And as
London.
we walked through that airport, you know, there's the airport before security and there's the airport after security. That's, I feel, when one of the moments that it felt the most like a post-apocalyptic place. It's like, holy moly, everything is empty. Everything is like this, just like
everything's deserted.
Yeah,
like you see like these restaurants, there's nobody there, deserted, you know. And like I swear there's like a little piece of trash like blowing on the ground, you know, like the classic like
that
just
sort
empty,
of thing,
you know. It was definitely crazy. But yeah,
thank God
we actually made it on our flight, and we made it to London.
We made it out, and we made it to Heathrow. Some other airport.
Yeah, some London Gatwick, I think.
No, that was the one we took out of.
The one in Stansted.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, so we made it on that flight, but the whole entire time going to that flight, we were like panic mode looking at flights. We were like, because we knew we were about to take off, or we hoped we were about to take off of this plane.
Yeah. So before we got on the plane, we were like desperately trying to book like a flight home because we knew we needed to get there before the borders were closed up.
Yeah, here's the other thing. Literally that morning, this had to be the longest day because I can't believe how much we literally did all that in that one day. Absolutely crazy.
Well, we did have a night in Stockholm.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I mean, like, just even then, literally that morning was when we heard that we had to get out. And we also thought, because of the way it worked, they're like, you know, Friday at midnight. For some reason, we thought that it was like midnight that night. And so we're like, shoot, like, we're not.
Oh, yeah, that's what,
yeah.
We're like, and dude, that the flights were disappearing as we were trying to book them.
We would go find a flight. Like, okay, this is, you know, a decent price. It would be like, you know, maybe $1,000, whatever. And we're like, okay, that's, you know, pretty expensive, but, you know, that's what we'll have to do. So we go to book it. Gone.
That's the cheapest thing.
Yeah, gone.
And as we go to book it, it was gone. And
like,
that happened again and again and again.
You could see on Google Flights or on any flight app all the flights available because they hadn't refreshed fast enough. So when you actually went to click on it and went to go book, it would be like, oh, sorry, this is gone. Or it would literally be like, you know, a $1,200 flight. You click on it, go to book, and then as soon as you actually go to pay, it'll be like, oh, price increased, $2,700 or $3,700 or $4,000. Like, it was ridiculous. You're like, oh,
and that's the thing.
Goodness.
Like, I feel like looking back, the most responsible thing to do would have been to just stay here and never even go into Europe in the first place. But like you don't. It's hard to know this. Like, it was a hard decision.
Yeah, when we went, it just did not feel, and especially here, like being here, that's the thing I realized the most was like being in Italy. That's what made me the most, that's what like really shocked me the most and the most aware of like how extreme it was. Yeah. Because when you're here, everyone here was just
still like, going, when we got here, everyone was still like going about their lives.
Yeah. And like people would be talking to me on Instagram, whatever, like, oh, how's Europe going? And I'm like, it's terrifying, basically. And they're like, what? Really? And like,
but it was great until it was terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It happened so fast that literally when we were in Sweden, you know, there was like all the flights were full. There was no problem. Like no one felt like there was people wearing masks and being careful, but no one felt that.
This was like a week ago. We were perfectly chilling in our, you know, hanging out with people in Europe, just talking to like we would not dream to be doing that right now.
Yeah, and I feel like
a week later,
people watching this too, like hindsight.
Not only in Europe but here.
Yeah, hindsight's 2020, right? So even watching this, you could be like, I can't believe you traveled still. Like obviously, blah blah. But like you have to realize that like the situation just felt so different. Like there was the stigma wasn't there yet. Now it's like, wow, I'm so glad we got out.
And the craziest thing is people still doing that to this day. And I mean, we want to. It's hard because everyone, I feel like it's exposed to different like informations. So I feel like in this moment in time, we just want to be kind to each other. We don't want to necessarily. I know how what a strong impulse it can be to be like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Stop it! Don't do that. And we must communicate this. But if we can communicate this kindly, I feel like that's just more constructive. Because people like that's the thing. I feel like, when I go on Twitter, there's so much outrage. Not only right now, but at all times.
Yeah.
And there's like, I feel like they are trying. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they try. I get the feeling that they're trying to convince people to their point of view, and they're trying to do that by like screaming and shaming and like people don't react well to that. Like if you want. It's so hard. It's
really hard. And I would say even like people don't react well to just you telling them what to do at all. Like, even us, like it was like, people would say, oh, don't travel because of coronavirus. And I'm like, you're just being overly dramatic, blah, 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 right? But then actually seeing for yourself what it's like in that scenario, it totally changes your perspective on it. Like I feel
to be fair, I feel like we didn't get told that explicitly, like before we left.
Yeah, definitely. There was people who told me that for sure. Like,
okay.
Like not people that I definitely would listen to of anything they say. They're just like their recommendation was like, oh, I don't think you shouldn't be going to Europe. Like, don't you know the coronavirus?
But well, there was
that was in the very minority. Like that was like there was like most people totally thought it was fine. Like, oh, yeah, be careful, but it's totally fine. And there's a few people who would say that. But yeah, it's just like you don't really know until you see it firsthand. And as a human race in general, I don't know if we mentioned this before, but like we're not really very, very forward thinking. When something happens, it's like, now we react. But when people are saying from beforehand, like, oh, you should definitely not go, or you should definitely prepare for this, prepare for that, it's like, it'll probably be fine. And then once you see it firsthand, it's like, wow. It's
I mean, that's like, we can only make decisions based on the information we have. Like when I heard these things, I took them seriously. I made a point of them, and I tried to as we travel, let's be careful with this and that.
Yeah, make sure for sure.
But
well, I feel like we did our best, absolutely, to be as
we could have done better.
But
I mean,
we tried.
Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, my point behind all that was just that people in general now are taking it a lot more seriously because of what's happening, and all the toilet paper being gone in stores and all the things being gone, so they're taking it more seriously now.
And I think it
took it getting here to get that point.
I think a lot of that comes from the authorities. It's like we kind of look towards people, our leaders, basically, to tell us what we should be doing and what shouldn't be doing. When you get someone telling you, this is a hoax or whatever, coronavirus is a hoax. Even if you don't think it's a hoax, you kind of think, well, it's surely not that serious.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing that made us realize it was very serious, it was actually the Italian government's response to it.
Yeah. Of course,
and before that, the American response by closing borders.
Mm-hmm.
That is what makes you take notice in a different way.
Yeah.
Because you expect that. I was looking for the airline to cancel the flight if it was if we were, like when we got there, it's like, and they're asking us, oh, you can only be here if it's essential. It's like, why did they let us in the first, like, why didn't we get an email from the airline telling us? Because again, we're traveling. We're not getting that many news because we're on the go.
Yeah, because like before that point, it was literally like, like my grandma or like my one, very like nervous friend who's like, oh, I heard about this virus, don't go to Europe. And I'm like, well, you're not really like the source of my information on this. If I shouldn't go, there should be some, government telling me that it's bad.
But to be fair, those people were turned out to be super right and wise. And
I'm sorry for not taking your advice. But yeah, that's always how it is, right? We mentioned, it's like, there's always people who are like, they're prophets. They're like saying like, whether it's Elon Musk saying that AI is going to take over the world, or
Bill Gates telling us we're not ready for the next epidemic.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And people just don't listen because we're like, wow, surely not, But then once it happens, then of course people listen.
Yeah.
I hope anyway. I hope people listen once it happens.
Yeah. I mean, well, this is the thing. This will change the world.
Yeah.
And, once we make it through this, we're going to... once humanity makes it through it, it's going to be a different humanity, hopefully more aware, hopefully more... Because, again, as we travel, we can see why it was so bad. Because, people in general don't have good hygiene. Mm-hmm. And even like authorities, like the TSA and, those... border securities, like they're interacting with all these different people in a super unsafe manner.
Yeah,
like
when you think about it, right? Yeah, literally every TSA agent is touching everybody's things. So if there's anything infected on any of those things, like you're wearing the same gloves, right? It's just like, I don't know the solution, but obviously if you're touching someone's things and then touching another person's things and like touching everyone's things, you're literally just spreading those germs like massively. Like
yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like we should definitely take a look at all these different systems we got in place and modernize them for the world in which global pandemics are going to be a thing.
Yeah. So after this, hopefully, we'll be in a much cleaner world.
Just everything. Much safer world.
But then again, the whole conversation would come up, and I don't know if we want to get into it, but when you are in a much cleaner world where there's none of these viruses and all that kind of stuff, it would have to be kind of all or nothing, because if our virus does come, it's just like open season, right? If a virus that can still get through all those, whatever security that we have, then yeah, it's like the same problem again in a way, because like we're not ready for it. Our bodies are just going to be absolutely destroyed.
Well,
like a super virus,
Right. Yeah. I mean, what's better? Is super virus going through no security measures, or is super virus going through some security measures? Yeah. Yeah,
it's hard. I guess I don't know enough about this to talk about it, but I would just assume that like the more we put blocks on it, the stronger the virus would have to be in order to get through. And if it did, then, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you're alluding to like superbugs and all that. And yeah, that's definitely another conversation I'm not educated enough to speak on.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. I've just heard small things about it, but it's interesting to think about that. Like, it would be if we could find a way to, never let a virus in, then that would be ideal. Like if we could just find a way to completely be clean and sanitary. But I wonder if that would actually cause another problem, because like, we've never achieved that. Like imagine achieving a place where there's just no, viruses, or like you can completely block, viruses. I wonder if like our immune system would actually not be okay with that. Like what would happen to people if there
it depends on how you block it, right? But again, we're not like informed enough to have that conversation.
This is the podcast about YouTube. This is a YouTube YouTube news podcast.
What I'm saying is, I'm not saying like we're not going to be exposed to any viruses, but if we have certain things that we can do to like slow the spread of it, like self-isolation or social distancing and all that, and just like there's no excuses to not washing your hands, like that should never have been a thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, hate on everyone who didn't wash their hands. That's the answer. I mean, I agree, we should wash our hands, but obviously we didn't know until it happened, as per usual with humanity. We were dirty until we realized that we were killing ourselves.
I mean,
hopefully not killing ourselves. Hopefully
that's the thing with all this. Like we knew. Bill Gates told us.
Yeah.
Bill Gates told us a while ago. We just didn't want to listen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't hear it personally from Bill Gates, but I feel like there's also something to be said for just people aren't very, like, we're not looking either. Like I wasn't researching this, making sure all these things. I kind of just let the world happen to me. To be honest, I don't do a lot of research into what the next thing that could be killing me is. Maybe I should. This is maybe a good wake up call.
Yeah. Anyway, we're back here now, practicing self-isolation, as we said, and we're gonna be keep moving forward. Luckily, we are very lucky that we work from home. So, half of our job is from working from home,
And we're in that half right now.
And we're in that half right now. Now, how do things look going forward? That's something we have to all think about, I guess.
I mean, maybe we should think about that now, I guess. I was thinking like, oh, thank goodness we have like, these videos to edit right now. But yeah, we probably should start making a plan for what it's going to look like recording videos without, going out in public, really.
Yeah. Because I guess right now there's a question about how long is this going to last.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess the more days pass, the less likely the scenario in which this just blows over in a couple of months or whatever. Like, this seems to be a thing that's going to be around for like years.
Yikes. Just saying years is so scary. It's like, wow, like I can't even imagine this being a thing for years and what that would look like. I'm like, I feel like we're in a good position, but also, yeah, who literally knows? Like, is YouTube going to be a thing still? Is it going to keep going? I'm assuming it will. Like, I'm hoping that this, because it's, online entertainment, whatever, that's going to just be, not have any hiccups, but also like literally was just talking to our neighbor and he's like, so I heard, YouTubers aren't going to be paid as much because of the coronavirus. And I'm like, I haven't heard that yet, but like that, I guess that makes sense. Like, that might happen.
I mean, at the end of the day, if people can't get back to work, that means they have no money to spend on things, which means the first thing that gets cut out of any budget is the marketing budget. So, and that's where we make our money.
Yeah.
So all industries are going to suffer.
It's interesting why you would cut your marketing first, because maybe in reality they should just be marketing better. Like marketing, because like people don't want to spend their money because they're not making money. Maybe marketing is going to be like, oh, here's a reason, a thing you should spend your money on, or a reason why you should spend your money still.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll like go extra hard in the marketing. Like here's.
Yeah. We'll see. That's something we'll have to think about along with the rest of the world. You know, what's next? And
I see that you have written down here movies being delayed, and I haven't even thought about this. So that's why I'm like, wow, that's actually an interesting thing. Like, are these movies going to come out? How do I watch the next movie?
Well, because theaters are closed, right?
Yeah.
How long are they going to be closed for? Who knows? But
I'm
already
just thinking about that now on this podcast, and that's actually blowing my mind. That's terrifying. I want to watch the next movie. Like, where do I go?
Yeah, Fast and Furious got delayed till next year, we'll see what happens. Disney moved up their release schedule for Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker got bumped up.
Delayed or bumped up? What do you mean?
Ahead of schedule.
So they're posting it sooner.
They're posting it sooner.
But the theaters are closed. Or
no. I'm talking about the Rise of Skywalker. This is a movie that was already in theaters, and they're releasing sooner on video on demand.
Online, of course, that makes sense. Yeah, that's
and cool. Frozen got bumped up like 3 months.
So they're being released on DVD sooner, just so that they get some sort of.
Yeah, Frozen is released in Disney Plus.
Nice. I wonder if we're gonna see some sort of emergency service for watching theater movies at home. Like, I wonder if they'll make some like theatrical releases online. Like, imagine
that would be interesting.
The theatrical releases movie, and you all like tune into this online place to watch it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that is the question. How long are movie theaters are gonna be closed for?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you think, oh well, maybe just a couple of, maybe a few weeks, maybe let's say 8 weeks. Okay.
Damn, that's a long time.
But this is not gonna be over in 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I wonder. I have no idea what the projections are like, but I wonder if people are hoping that they can flatten the curve early on, and that we won't need to be as careful later on. Like, maybe even though it won't be over in that amount of time, maybe the hospitals will be keeping up, or we'll have more hospital beds and all that stuff, like infrastructure built in not too long, and like we won't have to be as safe. Like, obviously, it won't be through everybody, but maybe we won't have to be as socially distant. I don't know.
Yeah, the scary thing about this is that, okay, so you managed to flatten the curve, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, we got the contagions under control.
Mm-hmm.
Stop the measures that that were required to get you there. It's just gonna spike back up.
Right, exactly. I think I was watching the Logan Paul podcast. Impulsive, and they were talking to some creators who were in Italy, and they were basically just saying that, like, we had this exact thing happen where that curve spiked, right? Where it's like, that is exactly what happened. That's why it was, it was terrible. All the hospitals filled up right away, blah, blah, blah. And so they're just saying, like, just look at exactly what we did and just don't do that. Just like, see us as an example and just do that better. And so I'm hoping that, the US and Canada and, the rest of the world. I'm just saying U.S. and Canada because that's where we are right now. But yeah, the rest of the world can actually see that and find a plan that will execute that curve, I guess, properly, and it won't end up being a thing where it's just like, last forever. Like maybe there's a way, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Well, that's the thing. Like you can you can get this done very quick. It just means that a lot of people are gonna die. Or you can have it...
get this done? What do you mean? Like just get the virus over with?
Yeah, I mean, the virus can go through populations like that.
Yeah.
It could be over very soon.
Maybe that's what needs to happen. I'm just kidding.
But the thing, the consequences of that is a lot of people dying.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other option is flattening the curve, where less people die, but
it takes forever.
Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah, that's actually a scary thought. Like literally, we're at the point where it's like either lots of people die or lots of people lose their jobs and businesses stop, and like the economic crisis.
But here's the thing: if a lot of people die, that still messes up the economy. So it's not that we're making decisions based on economy alone and not humanity, but let's
No, I was just gonna say that it is very scary to think about the repercussions of just even 1 month of something stopping, because there's so many sort of like machines that are just turning, and as soon as it stops, how do you get it back turning again? Let alone now the idea of it happening for more than a month, a year or 2 years.
Yeah. And that's why the U.S. government is, this is not this kind of show where we're talking about policy and everything, but...
I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like every podcast is going to get into this. Whatever podcast you're listening to, surely they are talking about the coronavirus also.
Yeah.
Like we're not the only ones.
But that's why there's like these stimulus packages being considered, so that it's almost like the federal government, just picking up the bill for everyone.
Yeah.
Because... the thing is, the economy, everything is interconnected. One thing falls, and a bunch of things fall, and everything, and just everything falls. So, it's hard. But
literally, I don't know what I'm talking about. This podcast again, this is a podcast about YouTube. Do we have any YouTube news though? Like all the YouTube news is just.
In YouTube news, YouTube closes some content moderation offices due to coronavirus. Warns creators it's temporarily relying on automated systems. So if you're a creator and you see more, yellow icons and takedowns than usual, that's the YouTube automatic system doing its thing, because there's not going to be a lot of human reviewers.
Content moderation offices. That makes it sound like there's going to be just like all this terrible content on YouTube, because there's not. They're not.
No, it's the opposite.
But it's the opposite.
Yeah, it's the opposite because YouTube is not going to take any chances. Yeah, the automated system doesn't take any chances.
Gotcha.
It suspects you're going down.
Yeah.
So be extra careful out there, guys.
No, switched in channels only, guys. Is that still a meme? I forget.
I think it's a pretty dank meme.
Yeah, it's pretty dank. But yeah, Be very cautious. I feel like our YouTube channel is pretty good, but we have had some situations where like YouTube will think that we're saying drugs in our video when
instead
of we're saying drones.
We're saying drones. Well, you just say the D word. So.
Oh shoot! No, YouTube, please. Not all the monetization on our 600 views on this podcast, please.
Yes.
At least hopefully 600 views. I don't know. We'll see.
We wish.
That's pretty high. That was a brand number I just tossed out there. I don't know. Right there.
But I mean, this is the new era, the new future. We get a plan for it. We're all in this together.
Yeah, the whole world. That's actually kind of cool. The whole world is, going through the same thing. We're all figuring it out together. The whole world, the entire world. Yes. Eventually. I mean, some places are probably safe still, but not for long. Dude, I wonder, there must be islands where just no one has the coronavirus and no one will get it because no flights will, they'll stay.
Yeah.
Surely, right? And wherever that is, let's go. Oh wait, no, that would defeat the purpose. Never mind.
Yeah, no. Imagine people just imagine if people got crazy over toilet paper. The chaos in those islands right now. It's like, no, let me in.
You're right, dude. There's just no toilet paper. Dang.
Oh boy.
Dude, the whole toilet paper situation is hilarious because I was thinking about it and I was like, how much toilet paper do you need to last for X amount of time, right?
Yeah.
Like when I go shopping, right? You get one of those big things of toilet paper, and that lasts me for I don't even know how long, a long time. I don't even think about how long it takes. I just wait till it goes down again, and then buy another one. It lasts a long time. So when you're buying a whole carton of this, are you or a whole cart full of toilet paper? Are you expecting years of this? And if that's the case, then why are you not buying that of everything else as well?
Yeah, and also toilet paper. We're still making toilet paper.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah.
I'm
like
a little confused by
if
that.
it comes down to it, it's just paper. So like, you could probably use other forms of paper to clean yourself, or you could use water. You get a bidet. Like it's not an emergency. The toilet paper situation to me is not the emergency. I feel like there's just other things like that are way more important. But that's me talking before we ran out of toilet paper. Once we run out of toilet paper, I might have a whole different story about this one. It'll be the same thing. I'm like, they were right all along.
Well, the thing is, you want toilet paper, just don't hoard it.
Yeah.
Like, don't buy everything.
Dude, I wonder if very quickly they'll start being like a rationing where like, you can only buy, like for example, when you go to certain stores, they'll be like only X per customer.
Yo, that I feel like that's
why didn't they just instantly, that'd be genius. Yeah.
Yeah, they should have done this from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Anyway, should we
wrap up this podcast? We rambled enough about this.
Guys, we have an exclusive interview with Ryan Trahan coming up.
Yes.
So subscribe to the channel.
Yes, exactly. If you know who Ryan Trahan is, then you are hopefully excited about it. If you don't, he's an amazing YouTuber. You should check him out at Ryan Trahan. Watch some of his videos in preparation for our little podcast coming out soon.
Yes. Stay subscribed. Give this video a like button. And I would like to dedicate this podcast to the loving memory of my friend Diego Gallegos, who passed away yesterday and after a fight with cancer. And our thoughts are with his family, parents, siblings, his wife, Eve, his son, Marcelo. You're in our thoughts. Until next time.
See you guys later.
Peace.